Hi, it's Jon Mitchell, Mayor of New Bedford, and this is another installment of the Mayor's Weekly Update. So let's start off as we have really in the last 18 months, which is with COVID, of course. So this week cases continue to be relatively high. The case numbers in the city are about as high as they were back in February and March or so. So still very elevated. A lot of the cases, about 2/3 of them, are among people who are 30 years and younger. And so you see a lot of younger people out there getting infected. And the reality is that they're not getting that sick, but they are spreading it to others who are getting sick. And so the hospitalizations at St. Luke's right now are as high as they've been in many months. We have also had 13 people in the last month, city residents who've died from COVID. Every single one of them was unvaccinated. So we have a problem of lots of young people getting infected. Almost all of them, about 90% of them, were unvaccinated. And then we still have some people with underlying vulnerabilities who are unvaccinated. They're the ones that are catching it. So we need to do everything we can to spread the word about vaccination. Some people are coming in now and saying, yeah, I know somebody who got really sick, or my employer is making me do it, or everybody at work has been vaccinated. It's time for me to do it. So people are starting to come in. We want that to go a little bit faster. And again, I over the last several months, I will continue to do this, punctuate my remarks by saying, don't take my word for it. Talk to your physician, the person you trust, to give you advice about other medications. And the vaccine is just yet another medication. So please keep that in mind as we continue to go forward. The more people get vaccinated, the better off we'll all be. Secondly, as we talked about last week, and it bears repeating, we really want people to come in and tell us what they think we should spend federal stimulus dollars on. We've had a couple of really good public meetings. We've had a number of stakeholder group meetings. There's been the survey on the city website. We've gotten many responses from that. We encourage people to go back to the website and fill those surveys out. Keep bringing those up. We want to make sure that we're getting an understanding of of all the best ideas out there. We've gotten some really good ones along the way. So, and we think that in the next few weeks we'll be coming out with a rough plan. It won't say what we'll spend the money on down to the dollar, because that'll really depend. What we spend the money on will depend in part on what the state does with its funds, as well as the types of projects that are available. That's not something that we can predict ahead of time. The last thing I just want to say is, and it relates to ARPA, is that a lot of folks have said that we should be using the money on roadways. And I agree, we should do that. It's at the top of my list. Unfortunately, the ARPA regulations are pretty clear that that's not an eligible use, with some narrow exceptions. But in general, we can't use it on road projects. We're hopeful that the infrastructure bill that will likely pass in Congress in the next few weeks will include a great deal of money for roadways. So we think there's a good chance of that happening. The other thing is that we're continuing to fund road projects on our own. And if you've been driving around the city, you'll see those projects going on. And sometimes they're a little bit of a hassle. That's sort of the price of progress when we reconstruct roads that haven't been reconstructed in a while. That's the detour signs come up, of course, but we're going to continue to work on the roadways of the city. We've bonded for a greater share of road work now than we have in many years, and we're going to continue to invest, because I think I think we'd all agree that's a wise place to invest taxpayer dollars. So we're going to keep at that. Anyway, that's been the Mayor's Weekly Update, and we'll see you next week.